Hello, my wonderful viewers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Samuel, your maths tutor. I'll be taking you through various mathematics topics across various levels of education. So you'll be looking at mathematics topics in the primary school, secondary school, as well as the A level. I'll also be solving past questions, mathematics past questions across these levels. So if you are new to this channel, I will encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Also hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first person to receive any mathematics video I'll put out there. I also encourage you to like and share my videos to friends and relatives out there. Now, viewers, what are we doing today? Today we are going to look at how we can use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equation. We are looking at how we can use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equation. So let's take our first example here. Solve the quadratic equation. Solve the quadratic equation x squared 2x squared plus 5x plus 2 equal to 0. Solve the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 5x plus 2 equal to 0. Let's look at the solution. Now, how do you use the quadratic formula? How do you use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equation? The first thing to do is to put down our quadratic formula. Yeah. So the quadratic formula is given by x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So that's our quadratic formula. So we're going to use this formula to solve this quadratic equation. Now, how do we get this a, b, and c? How do you get their values and then substitute them into the formula? How do you get those values? Now, to get values for a, b, and c in a formula, we need to compare the equation given to us to the general form of quadratic equation, and then we can come out with values of a, b, and c. So let's look at the general form of quadratic equation. Now we know that the general form of quadratic equation is given as ax squared plus bx. Let me go this side. General form of quadratic equation is given by ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So that's the general form of quadratic equation. And this A, B, and C that you see in the general form is what we see in the quadratic formula. Good. So whenever you have a quadratic equation written in this form, having the x squared term, the x term, and the constant at one side of the equal to sign, and everything is equated to 0, then we can compare that quadratic equation to a general form and then come out with our A, B, and C. So how do you get A, B, and C values in this equation given to us? Now, have it in mind that always the coefficient of x squared is the value for A. The coefficient of x is the value for B, and then the constant number will be the value for C. So comparing this one to the one given to us, good. This one is in that form because the whole terms here are equated to 0. So we can do the comparison and get our A, B, and C. So comparing this one to that, we have A, coefficient of x squared. So from this equation given, what's the coefficient of x squared? 2. Then B, coefficient of x. What's the coefficient of x in the equation given to us here? That is 5. Then C is a constant number, the number not attached to x, and that number is 2, right? Good. So comparing the general form to the equation given to us, we're able to come out with values of A, B, and C. We then substitute these values into the quadratic formula and solve for the values of x. Because it's a quadratic equation, we solve for the value or the values of x, we should get 2 values for x, okay, because it's quadratic. Good. So let's do the substitution. X, coming back to the formula, x will therefore be equal to minus b. B is 5, so minus 5 plus or minus square root of b squared, 5 squared, minus 4a, a is 2, c is also 2, all divided by 2a, a is 2, right? So we have x equal to minus 5 plus or minus square root of 5 squared is 25, minus 4 times 2 times 2, 16, all divided by 2 times 2, 4. So x is equal to minus 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus 16, that is 9, all divided by 4. Good. So we have x equal to minus 5 plus or minus, now square root of 9, 3, all divided by 4. Now we said it's quadratic equation, so you should get 2 values of x. So how do you get 2 values of x here? Now we are going to separate both signs, plus and minus. And these separations are going to give us the 2 values of x. So first we take plus, when we finish, we also take minus, and then simplify the fraction over here. So taking plus, it implies s is equal to minus 5 plus 3 on 4, and this is equal to minus 2 on 4. That will give us minus half. Good. So you have one value of x to be minus half. Let's look for the second value of x. Second value of x, this also implies that minus 5, we now take the minus 3 on 4 is equal to minus 5 minus 3 minus 8 on 4, and this is equal to minus 2. Minus 8 divided by 4 is minus 2. So these are our two values of x. So we have x equal to minus half, x equal to minus 2. So we have been able to use the quadratic formula to solve the given quadratic equation. That is how we use the formula to solve any quadratic equation. Make sure that the equation given to you is written in the general form, and then everything is equated to 0 before we can compare the general form and get values of a, b, and c.